is kind of go over a couple of things just to kind of acclimate everybody. I've prepared some resources and we're actually going to go in and play around with some things. But I often find it's kind of good to give everybody sort of like a baseline understanding of what Equatio can do, because it's also available on several other platforms. So I'm going to go here and click present. And just so that you know, if I'm looking off to this side, it's because I've got a larger monitor here. Makes it a little bit easier for me to share a few things.
Marc,
So
while you're presenting, will you actually turn on closed captions for us as well?
yes,
Um,
that's excellent. Thank you for recommending
yeah,
that.
awesome. Thank you.
All right, I think it started.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm actually Cincinnati based, so I'm not too far away. And if you should ever need to contact me, you are always welcome to call my cell phone or reach me through email. And that can be anytime during the day, in the evenings, on the weekends. What I wanted to do is just kind of give a quick overview of why we created Equatio, and then kind of share some additional insight for you. Stacy, if you'll do me a favor, and Danielle as well, if we receive questions in the chat box, don't hesitate to stop me. I'm going to go through these slides rather fast because I really want to get to some of the in the demonstration.
Sounds great. We'll watch it.
All right. Personally, I did struggle with math when I was in grade school and middle and high school. And so to me, the importance of Equatio is really evident. We know a lot of kiddos struggle with it, and it can have an impact into the different courses they may pursue when they go into college and the different job opportunities that are available to them. And so the other thing that we're kind of dealing with is COVID. Now, this past spring, everybody was challenged because you went almost immediately from being in class to non-traditional or remote learning. And that presented so many challenges for both teachers, students, parents, administrators. We know for this fall and going forward, we have to do a lot of things right to prevent COVID learning loss, and just to make it easier for students and teachers to interact, whether they're in class, doing hybrid, or full remote learning. Just so that you know, I've got a seventh grader. She's currently attending the remote option, but we're switching her to in-class instruction for January, assuming things don't go crazy over the holidays. So this slide is really just meant to kind of highlight the fact that you need a tool that's reliable, one that can help benefit a broad number of students, and allow you to interact with students in a variety of different ways, just to support differentiated instruction. I wanted to get in real quickly some of the teacher advantages to using Equatio. So one of the biggest things is it allows you to really kind of flip instruction and have a different type of participation versus the traditional pencil and paper worksheet type thing. It also gives you the chance, because you guys are a Google-based district, you can do formative assessment with the students through Google Forms and things like that. And it makes it very easy to know what students know and what they don't know. And then here's the most important thing. With COVID, I know that there were many districts that were used to providing paper-based handouts for students. And that really doesn't really work so well when you're doing digital learning. And also, I have a 5-year-old, and I know that she's not always fastidious about covering her mouth when she sneezes. So nobody wants to pick up a germy worksheet. And Equatio can really help with that. So some of the student benefits: it really allows students to become more engaged, active learners. And my 5-year-old loves the iPad. She knows more about it than I do. They're used to clicking and exploring and trying new things. And I think Equatio really plays to those skills and talents of students. It also gives you multiple ways to create and make math and demonstrate your mastery and understanding of topics and concepts. That's the thing I think I love the most. And experience breeds success. You know, it's a tool that that students can use and learn how to master, and it provides a deeper level of understanding, or it has the ability to do that, and helps them develop their proficiency skills. Now, I mentioned before, and this is what I want to highlight, you guys are a Google-based district, so you're going to be engaging with Equatio for Google Chrome. And then we also have a separate app space. It's called Math Space. And that's another tool that we're gonna get into today. Equatio is also available for use with Windows and Mac, and that's called Equatio Desktop. And then Stacy, you had mentioned, I think last week, that there's a few schools in the district that actually utilize the Canvas LMS. And we have an integration with several LMSs. So that includes Canvas, Brightspace, and Schoology. And I can share more information about that with you offline, but I just thought I'd mention that today. Now, Equatio for Google is wonderful because it works where students work. So it's going to work in Google Docs. It's going to work in Google Forms, in Slides, and then the integration with Equatio Math Space is something I think that's going to be very exciting when you see what resources I'm going to share today. So think of this as sort of like a digital whiteboard, and you have the ability to create assignments in Math Space, and you can assign those to students. They can complete those and submit them back to you. There is a ton of functionality here. And Equatio, we often get this question, who is it really designed to benefit? Well, we've got districts that use Equatio K through 12. And so what I'm going to do is kind of show you some examples of how you can use Equatio and the different resources with all grade levels. We've recently added some new enhancements to Equatio within the last several months, and this is something I'm really excited about. So we have a periodic table that's now available in Equatio, and it allows you to call up more detailed information about the individual elements with Wikipedia pop-up displays. We've also added the Desmos Scientific Calculator, and that's exciting because I believe you guys are using that on the state tests. And I went to desmos.com testing, and here's the information that it pulled up for Kentucky.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then we've also added a molecular viewer, and this is just fascinating to me. So when we talk about Equatio being a STEM solution as well, it does do more than just math. And so I hope you'll come away from today's session with a better understanding of its STEM capabilities. And this is a little gift that Louis, who is the TextHelp product manager, created for us. And I'll go in and show you some of that a little bit later. All right, now comes the fun time. I'm going to escape out of here, and I'm going to go over to a Google Doc that I've created and will share out with everyone today. And Stacy, just as a double check, are you able to see my screen? Is it coming through all right?
Yes, sir.
All right, perfect. Now, the link that you're going to receive from Stacy will ask you to make a copy of this document, so you'll have your very own copy of this, okay? And there's a couple things that I want to highlight. So the company I work for is TextHelp, and Equatio is one of our solutions. And we're a Google-based company. So in my screen up here, I see a number of different extensions that I have access to, and Equatio is one of them. So I went ahead and just did a little screenshot of that so you can see it. If you're familiar with Read and Write and Read and Write PDF Reader, we also make those solutions as well, and you all have access to those. So you should be familiar with some of these icons that you see here. Now, one of the things that's really important is knowing how to utilize Equatio. So your district has invested in Equatio, and really it's my goal to support and help make sure that you know how to use it. So you can either reach out to Stacy, who's awesome to work with, or you can always contact me with any questions. And we're happy to get back to you and help you understand what you need to know, okay? Now, my purpose in creating this document is I tend to be more of a visual learner. And so for me, in my head, if I put myself in your position, I'd want me to provide a basic. Like, how do I get to know how to use all the tools? And then what are some of the other important things that are good for me to know? So in this particular section, I've created links that are going to help you really develop a solid understanding of Equatio. So we have this how-to guide, okay? And that's what this link is. And I'm gonna increase the size for you. So what it is it's a screenshot of the toolbar, and I've labeled all the different tools for you. And then as you scroll down, you'll see a description of each tool, the symbol, and then I've included links to videos that will quickly help you understand how to use each tool. And this is something that is a wonderful resource for teachers, but also students. And for those teachers of the younger elementary students, this is a resource that you might want to share out with parents as well. So just remember that we developed this resource to kind of help answer questions for a number of different users.
Mark, thank you so much. That's a great one-stop shop. Get some nice feedback and videos on what each of those nice things do. So thank you.
Hey, it's our pleasure. Now I'm going to go back to this document and I want to highlight a few things. If you guys are used to using Read and Write, you know it has word prediction in there. And we thought that was a great idea. So we built in math prediction. And really the beauty of that is, what's more important, a student trying to figure out how to type an equation, or knowing that they can just type a few letters and have it come up, and then actually spend more time on the math? And I think it's more important to spend the time actually doing the math. So when you open up the Equatio, if you click on the teal box right here, it will give you the ability to select math options. And in there, you have the ability to have math, chemistry, and formula predictions. Now, it used to be that you had to turn them on, and I believe now they're automatically set to default in the on position. So if you don't need to have access to chemistry formulas, obviously you could turn that off. But I always recommend leaving them turned on just to be safe, okay? Now, we have a published list of the prediction items, and I want to show you what that looks like. So when you click on that link, it's going to open up this document, and there's several different tabs at the top. So these are all the math related shortcuts you can type to bring up the corresponding symbols right here. We have a formulas tab, and this one you can just scroll down and see all the cool stuff we have in there. Chemistry, we have a lot of really cool chemistry formulas built in there. So all you have to do is type barium, and you can come up with a number of these very quickly. Now, we also have a dictation tool on here, so you can speak math and have it come up. And this kind of gives you suggestions on some of the shortcuts for using the speech input. So it's really designed to help a broad range of students. And that's why I wanted to go over this quickly with you, just so you know that that's something that, that you should review. Now, one of the questions that often comes up is, what is the best way to use Equatio and Equatio Math Space with students? And we have an awesome group of math and STEM educators who love Equatio, and we call them the TextHelp Titans. And we've been working with them for the last year and a half or so. They've provided resources that they've created, so lessons and activities for using Equatio with a broad range of students. And I'm going to bring that link over here so you can see it. And when you open it up, you can come up here and you can use the fields up here to sort it if you want. Right now, we currently have a total of 29 resources, and we'll continue to expand that out as we move forward. But the thing that I love is that we've got resources in here for kindergarten, first grade, third grade, all the way up to 10th, 11th, and 12th. Just some really cool stuff. If you click on here, it'll open up for you. And so those resources are available as well. Now I'm going to jump back into this document. We recently recorded some videos that are really meant to help you introduce Equatio and Equatio Math Space to your students. And so I've provided those links right here. And then because the Desmos calculator, the periodic table, and molecular viewer were recently added, Louis, who is the Equatio product manager, had done an excellent video on those. And I thought it would be good for you to see that as well. Now, this link here is to the how-to guide that I just showed you, which breaks down each tool, includes a description, and then a video link so you can understand how to use it. And all those videos come from our Equatio YouTube channel. So we are constantly adding new videos to the YouTube channel every month. And this gives you the ability to go through there and just kind of review different videos and see if there's anything else that might spark your interest. Now, one thing that is very important to me is I know that Jefferson County is a very diverse district, and we love that. And because TextHelp is a global company, so we're actually headquartered in Northern Ireland, and we have many schools and districts outside the United States that utilize Equatio. Our goal is to really help create additional resources that benefit English learners. And this is something that has just become available. We have an Equatio Spanish thing link and a French thing link. And here's a snapshot of what that looks like when you open it up. And there's a number of different arrows down here you can click. And when you click on those, what it's going to do, it's going to open up a card that will provide more information about that specific tool. So in this case, I used an example from the Spanish version. We do not have our Equatio videos available in other languages. So what it's going to do is it will read this to you in Spanish or French, and then it will provide you with an access to open up the English link video. Now, it's my goal to try and get more of these thing links made in different languages to help support your students. So that's something that I'm going to be working on in the coming months. And you guys have a wonderful languages department. And I've been in touch with several people there. And so just know that as we have more resources to share with you, Stacy will help disseminate that out to everyone in the district. Now, this is more geared towards some of the teachers and administrators. One of my colleagues in California put together this wonderful document, and it explains how Equatio can support district programs. And I don't think I have that open, so I'm going to click on it so you can see what this looks like. So we've got it broken down by special education, college and career readiness, assessment and accountability, and then ELL and LEP. And essentially what Nora did is she pulled together different videos and an explanation of how these specific tools can benefit students in special education, if they have special accommodations, things like that, as well as college and career readiness, and assessment and accountability. So this may be a document that would benefit certain folks in your district, and I just wanted you to know that we've got a link to that in case that would help out, okay? Now, here's the most important part. If you have any questions about Equatio and Equatio Math Space, I always like to highlight this again. I really want you to be able to maximize the value of this solution. So it really is important for me to let you know that if you do have any questions, I would love to hear from you, okay? So you've got my contact information here. What I thought I would do now is make sure I pop into the right tab. Okay, this is something that's kind of cool. Desmos has sample graphs already created. And you can go to their website and you can copy one of the graphs. And then you can go into your Google Doc, and I'll come right here and show you. So I've got my Callahan Equatio demo doc open, okay? And I'm going to scroll down and make some space. And this is the toolbar. So I'm gonna go through this in a minute, but I wanna, since we're talking about Desmos, let me just show you this. So I can open up the Desmos graphing tool, and in here I can hit Control V and paste that graph in there. And I think that's awesome. And if I want to insert it into my doc, I'm just going to come over here and hit Insert Graph. And there's the graph right there. So just know that you can find graphs that have already been created and easily copy and paste them into your doc. And that would work within Google Forms and Google Slides as well. Now, because this may be your first introduction to Equatio, I thought I'd show you. When you click on the little caret here, it's going to pop open several different resources here. I can go to Options, Help and Support, Send Feedback. There's a link to Equatio Math Space. You can switch users, so if you want to see what it's like in the student view, you can do that. And then this is a way to close it as well. So I'm going to click on Options, and we're going to go through this very quickly. So here is where you can select the font size. And why is this important? Well, Equatio is basically inserting an image of math into whatever resource you're using. And so it's based on pixels. So if you want to increase the size of that, you can. The font size, we can go from large to extra large or double XL. And that means there's going to be a larger volume of pixels. So if you would, and I'll show you an example of why, if I click on regular, and we'll save that, if you kind of stretch it, the clarity is a little different. So that's why we sometimes recommend you may want to put it in a larger font, and that's how that can be beneficial. Now, we've got language and speech engines, and I leave mine on automatic, which is the recommended. And then you do have the ability to translate Equatio into Spanish and French. So just know that that capability is available if you think it would help out. Here's where you turn on the math and chemistry and formula predictions. And so it's very simple to turn them on and off. We've got a toolbar options. So some people will often say, Mark, I don't really know LaTeX, and I don't know it either myself. So it depends on whether or not you want to have that feature turned on. All right. So maybe for some of the elementary students, it might be easier for them to have fewer tools on. And that's a way that you can go in and have that customized. Now we do have some insert options. One thing about Equatio is that many colleges use it through their Disability Services Office. And the reason that's important is you can use it for math textbook conversion. So some of the features in here are geared more towards colleges as well. This gives you an example of your profile. So you guys will all have access to all the premium features. And then this right here kind of gives you access to some of the tools that we use in there. But that gives you a real quick overview of how this works, and I close that out. And so we're back to the Desmos graphing area. I'm going to come over here and click on the equation editor. Now, I don't know if you can see this, but there are some dots here. I have to find them on my larger screen, and it allows you to move your working area up or down, okay? So you just look for those, you click on it with your mouse, and you can move that up or down. Now, I had told you before that we have the prediction built in, and you're probably thinking, well, what does that mean? So I'm going to show you right now. So we'll type in QUA. You can see that that brings up the quadratic formula. Now, I can just tell you that that is a very complex formula. And if I was a student, I don't know that I'd want to have to learn how to memorize that. But the beauty is I could just type QUA, and then I can come up here into my document. And if I click on this tool, it disappears. So then I can delete that. Wherever my cursor is, that's where the math will insert. If I come over here and I click Insert Math, you'll see it there. Now, I don't know if this is going to work or not because I've had some issues with my audio. But Stacy, you mentioned people were interested in the screen reader, and this is something that I think is amazing. So if I come down here and I click on the screenshot reader, and I use the crosshairs to surround that, right? It's going to do optical character recognition and read that back to me.
Fraction with the numerator negative means plus or minus the square root of e squared minus 4ac as denominator 2a.
Okay, now why is that important? So as I've been demoing Equatio over the last several years, I've frequently had math teachers tell me, oh, wow, that says it more accurately than I say it in the classroom. Sometimes I don't always say numerator or denominator. And so think about students who are doing non-traditional learning, right? They may not have access to somebody who can accurately read the math to them. And that is not a problem anymore because I can click the play button over and over and over again, as many times as I, as the student, need it to hear it. And the beautiful thing is it's helping me develop my language of math, right?
Yes, and Mark, that's why I love it so much. And that's why we so use it, because it's really reinforcing that vocabulary.
It does. And so that's the wonderful thing. Like, if I had had access to Equatio when I was younger, like, I often wonder how different things would have turned out. And I'll just say that the impact is, like, I wanted to become an architect, but I decided that I didn't think I could handle the math. So that made me choose a different path in college. And I think back now and I'm like, I could have easily figured it out, but I didn't know it back then. And so that's why I think, just for me, that is the power of Equatio right there. Now, I want to show you something that's really important, these 3 dots. Wherever you are, so you could be on the web or in a PDF or a various number of places, you have the ability to copy the math into Equatio, right? And so even though you may not use LaTeX, you can use this on, like, what if you're in Khan Academy and you pause a video and you use the screenshot reader to surround the math? You can actually copy it into Equatio, paste it in, and then put it in your Google Doc. And that's an awesome way for teachers to go in and find different things that they can use. Or if you want to go and say, hey, we saw this video, let's practice this problem. So just know that that capability is there. All right. So I'm going to close that. Stacy, do you think there's any questions about the screenshot reader or anything that we've covered so far?
I'm not seeing it in the chat, and I think you really gave us a great kind of dip into the possible ways we can use it.
All right, cool. Now, the other thing that I love is this problem right here. A lot of times, students need to show or demonstrate that they understand how to solve the problem. So I'm going to go back into the equation editor, and I'm going to clear this away, and I'm going to show you, we're going to work this through, okay? And I'm going to raise this up a little bit so I have more room to work. And I'm going to type, so I'll type 3x, and then you can either type minus, or you could hit the minus sign, okay? 14 equals 10. Now, here's the really cool thing. I'm going to hit Shift Enter, and it's going to drop me down to the next line. And so now I'm going to type 3x equals 24. Shift Enter, 3x, and if you look at the question mark key on your if you hit that, it will do the fraction sign. Okay.
Oh, so you're talking about on the keyboard.
Yes, I'm sorry, I blanked out on the word.
Keyboard. Oh, wow.
So you can either type over, okay, and it'll put it there, or you could just type the question mark key on your keyboard and it'll add it in. So now I'm going to type 3, and now here's the part, you have to hit the space key to move it over, okay? So 3x over 3 equals, and then I'm going to do 24 over 3. Oh, and that didn't work. So hold on a second. See if this works now. And I'll do that. And then I'm going to come here and delete that. Now, I hit Shift Enter again, and so that brought down the other line. But let me just stop there for a second.
And Mark, what I love about showing us the process. Kids can do this and they'll write it out on paper all day long, but getting them to kind of train for that, and they can show us in words. It's really fun.
Yeah, and Stacy, if we need to do more of these sessions, like I'm always thrilled to do that. So now we come down to the part where we're going to do, okay, x equals 24 over 3. I'll space it over and I'll hit Shift Enter again. Now I'm going to do x equals 8. Now, there's a couple of cool things that we built in. You see that there are some additional symbols up here, right? And you're looking at here and you're thinking, wow, that's in blue. So what if I wanted to change the color on this? Well, there's a way to do that. So I just come over here to text color, and you have these options. So if you wanted to have the problem in the Google Doc, and then you wanted to have the students solve it and show their work, you could say, hey, show your work and color everything red. Okay, you have that ability. There is also a way to insert text, and that's what the T is for. And if you like certain formulas, you can love them, and it'll make it easier for you to access them again. And then, of course, this is the symbol to, if you want a clear thing, you can. And if I click on more, there's other resources that are in here, okay? Along with a search tool. So if you need to find something quick, you can just search, like, what if you have like a chemistry term that you're searching for, like sodium bicarbonate or what have you, you could search for that. So just know that those are there, okay?
Mark, I've got a question.
Yeah.
So if you can highlight that and make that text all blue, like you had originally. So this is completely a question that just came up. If this was a student's paper that they submitted to me in Google Classroom on the book that I'm looking at, could I go in and edit their math and highlight, maybe they made a mistake, and highlight that in red as a feedback option? Or not highlight, or just want color to red?
Yes, that's an awesome way to do that. So let's say, so Stacy, you could do that, and I'll just show you. We're going to insert it right here. Now, remember when I said before about how the font size can be different? So I have this in regular, and I did this in a larger font size. You can click on the image and stretch it out, but do you see how this one is more clear? That's because it has the more pixels in it. I use the larger font. So let's pretend that you're here, you've opened up this document, and you click on this. What you're going to do is come down here to edit math, Stacy, right? And it's going to bring it back in here. And I'll show you how that works. Let me clear that out. I'll click on this, and it brings it back inside. All right? So you could then go in here and change the color. Let's say you want to do it in purple, right? And just say, you know, this needs to be, let's say, I'll just say, this won't be right, but I'll just say it needs to be 4x. Does that make sense? And then we would go over here and insert that math. And depending upon how you wanted to do it, like you could make the other text a different color and just highlight that line to show, hey, this is the important one. You do have that capability. Now, there's something else that I want to show you here too. When you highlight this, you have the ability to change the alignment. So now it's aligned to the left, okay? If I wanted to have it aligned to the center or the right or aligned to relation, you could do that. This gives you the ability to add a new column and a new row too, okay?
So I have a question about the new column. So if, say you've got the work there, would the new column allow me to add a column and put text description of what happened?
So you could, let's see. This problem is designed to review what we covered in class today.
So that's a nice way to give feedback too on student work.
Yes, that's an excellent suggestion. Now I want to show you what this is going to look like when we go ahead and insert this, okay? I just need to, let's see, I'll click out of here. And so that's what that looks like. And obviously I made a mistake on the H, but I could bring that back in there and correct that if I wanted to, okay? Now, I want to show more of a simpler problem for the younger students. So here's a great example of me doing just some basic addition, okay? I'm going to put my cursor right here, and I'm going to go here and trash this. And I want to show you how we've got this built in. If I type in ADD for addition, it's going to bring up we've already got it set up in there. So you can have an addition 2-digit vertical or a 3-digit vertical. All right. Now, what if I type SUB for subtraction? We've got the exact same thing in there. All right. Multiplication, MULT. You can type those in and get those. They're already pre-built for you. All right. We also have long division in there as well. All right. So I'm going to go back to the addition and I'm going to show you how I did this. So I'm going to click on the 3-digit vertical, and you'll notice in here that I've done a carryover, right? So if I put my cursor right over here, let's see if I can get it to go up. And then I do Shift Enter. That's going to give me the carryover row, okay? And so now I can type in 1, 3, 4, and then 16, okay? And down here, 4 and 6 is 10, right? So I bring my cursor back up here, and I put the 1 in there, and I've got 4, 5, 6, and then I come over here and I've got the 1, right? And then I'll be able to go ahead and insert that math into the document. And it shows up right there. Oh, and I accidentally deleted it, sorry. So that is how you can go ahead and do that, all right? Now, we've kind of covered how to use the equation editor, and just know that in the resources I've shared, you're going to see more instruction on how to utilize and how to do math in there. Now, LaTeX is something where it's more of a math formula that college instructors and faculty probably use. It's not something that I will typically use, but again, if I go out to a website, so I did algebra examples, and I've clicked on the images right here. So let me just show you how you can use the screenshot reader. So I click on Equatio icon, and the toolbar looks different here on the web. So let me just show you what we've got. We've got the screenshot reader. We've got the ability to move the toolbar wherever you want, okay? This is a discoverability tool. Access to the periodic table, the scientific calculator, and the molecular viewer. And if I want to get rid of this, I just click on this arrow and it'll disappear. Well, let me show you something. If I click on the screenshot reader, I can go ahead and surround the math. All right. And just like when we were in the Google Doc, it's going to OCR it.
Line 1, 3x minus 10 equals 11. Line 2, 3x minus 10 times positive 10 close current equals 11 times positive 10.
Now, that is a wonderful thing, okay? It is going to read that math accurately, and I love that. But what if I want to copy it? So I'm going to click on the three dots, and because we have the LaTeX editor in there, okay, I can copy with LaTeX. And just so you know, the Copy Math ML is a resource that more colleges use because they're using Microsoft Windows, and this is how they do text conversion, okay? But we've copied it with LaTeX. I'm going to go back into my document here, and I'm going to delete what's in there right now. And I'm going to put my cursor in here and hit Control V. Now, it took the LaTeX, it pasted it right here, and then you can see this is what it looks like. So that's fantastic. So if I put my cursor here in the document and I tab over and then I click Insert Math, I've been able to capture math from a website and easily paste it into my document. And then I can go in and change this up. So a teacher might say, hey, here's the example that we saw in Khan Academy. I'm going to do a couple different variations of this for you to practice on. It just makes it super easy for you to do that. So just know that that's how you can do that with the LaTeX. One thing that I want to show you with the with this, so we're in Desmos, and I'm going to get rid of some of this stuff, and I want to show you a cool feature. So sine of x, and let's see if I don't think I did that right. So let me try it again. All right. There is a way that you can hear the graph, okay? And I hope this will work. So on Chromebooks, you can hit Alt-T, and that's going to turn on audio trace, okay? And then if you hit the H key for here, all right, I don't know if you could hear that, but it actually lets you hear what the graph is. Now that
Totally, we can hear that.
Yeah, I'm blown away by that. That is an accessibility feature that is designed to support students with vision issues. And I think it's something that every student would love because it is. I mean, you're used to seeing graphs on pencil and paper, and you can see it here on the screen, but to be able to hear the graph, it just...
I'm wondering with your curve, if you put the X right next to it instead of a space, if it would do that.
You know what, Stacy? I think that's the problem. So let me try and do that again. X. Yeah, for whatever reason, it's supposed to be curvy, and it's not cooperating with me today, so I apologize for that. But it's a cool feature, and there's a video in the resource doc that I've shared with you. And let me go back and I'll show you where that's at. So under district program support and accessibility features, here's a link so you can hear the Desmos graph in Equatio. And then you can also have screen readers work with Equatio, and the molecular viewer also has accessibility as well. So just know that those videos are in there. I think it's important for you to have access to that information as well.
That's great. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. So I'm back in this document now. So we've covered how to use the equation editor, LaTeX editor, the Desmos graphing. I'm going to show you how to use the handwriting recognition. And I'm going to give myself some space. So let me close this down. move some of these problems out of the way. All right, now there's a couple ways you can do it. If you've got a touch screen, you can do that, all right? You can also use your mouse. And so I've got a monitor and my laptop set up today, so I'm actually gonna use my mouse to show you how to do this. But I'm gonna go 3 plus 10 equals 13. And, you know, hey, my mouse skills they're pretty decent, but you can see that it's picking it up accurately right here, okay? Now, let's say I made a mistake. I could just delete that, right? And I could delete that too, and I could start over, and I could do like 5 times 5 equals 25. And then if I want to insert it, I just click Insert Math, and it'll go into the document. Now, I think that's kind of cool because it just gives you another way to create math if you're so inclined to do so. So I'm going to delete that right now. And I apologize if we have some people mowing yards outside, and it seems kind of loud on my end, but hopefully it's not coming through on yours. Now, this is one of the most exciting things. It's the dictation tool, so speech input. And I can go ahead and dictate math. All right. So you come up here and you start speech input. 5 times 5 equals 25. Now, I can also talk. And I had a math teacher tell me, he's like, I was playing around with this last night and I had the TV on. And you could see the dialogue from the TV show appear over here in the screen, but it only picked up the math, okay? Now, over here, I'll turn that off. It's added some extra stuff in there, and I just simply go ahead and backspace and get rid of that. And then I can add in the 5. But I thought that was cool, and obviously it did pick up some other stuff. But we've really tried to make it sensitive to only pick up the math. And that can be important because if you're in a classroom and you've got students who are talking and just engaging, you know, the level of noise in the room could, you know, be a factor, but we've really tried to make it easy so that if the student's wearing a headset, they can dictate it and it will put their math in, if that makes sense, okay? Now, again, all I have to do is hit the insert math and it shows up just like that. Now, I didn't really cover this today, but there is a smartphone app. And what it allows you to do, should have teed this up, and I apologize, Stacy, I didn't do that. But I can have Equatio on my phone. So I'm going to show you the camera on there, and you can click on that app. You have to, the way you go to download it is you click on Equatio Mobile, all right? And you can either, it'll take you there through here. Here's the most important thing. If you have an Android phone, you've got to download it through the Google Chrome, all right? And if you're using an Apple iPhone, you've got to do it through Safari to download, okay? And then once you get there, it's going to allow you to sign in, and you're going to sign in through your JCPS account. And then it will give you the ability to take a picture of math, and you can insert it into your document. It'll also convert your math as well. And this is something that's really kind of cool. So if you want to have students show their work, maybe they can write it down on a piece of paper, snap a picture of it, and insert it. I've got a video that will walk you through it. It's a really neat feature. We had a limited amount of time, and I really wanted to spend a little bit more on math space because that's something that you asked about. So here's a link to insert math space. So you can actually go out and open up a math space, copy what you do, and put it in here. And I'll show you why you'd want to do that. This is the screenshot reader, which we've covered. And then this is the STEM tool. So just let me show you that. When you click on it, it's going to open up the periodic table, the scientific calculator, and the molecular viewer. And I've got a video in the resource page that walks you through all that. So I want to do one quick thing. We're going to go into a PDF. All right. Now, because your district has access to read and write, okay, I've got read and write open up here, and I've got Equatio down here. So what if I'm a student and I need help with the instructions? I could highlight the instructions and have read and write read them to me.
Value of each expression in lowest terms.
Okay. And then I can use the screenshot reader to have it actually read the math to me accurately. So that's a way how you can use both tools to benefit students as they need them. I like to think of these resources as these are tools that are going to help me out when I need them. And I may not need to use the same tools every day, but they're there if I do. All right. Now, I want to show you something on here. So I'm going to use the screenshot reader to highlight this math. I'm going to edit it with Equatio. So I'm in here, I'm going to hit Shift Enter, and I know that that's got to be 12 over 16 plus, I made that mistake again. Hold on. All right, I need to give myself a space, add the plus sign, and then do 1 over 16 equal, I did it again, sorry about that, equals.
I do it all the time when I'm in there.
Oh my gosh, and on demos, so I'm like trying to be conscious of time and everything. Okay, so I've got that set up. So now if I want to go ahead and highlight this, and I want to change the color of it, Stacy, just to demonstrate my work, I can do that. And then I'm going to hit Insert Math, and I'll just show you how this works. So you'll click on that, and do you see the little cross right here? This allows you to drag it and place it wherever you'd like, okay? Now, this is cool because I can have it read aloud to me again. If I don't like it, I can delete it. And if I'm happy with where it's at, I just click the check. And that's how you can have students demonstrate their work in a PDF, okay? Now, I'm gonna connect to a next tab, and this is Math Space. Now, I just wanna highlight Louis, who's the Equatio product manager. He's the guy that creates all the videos, and I love Louis, and you're actually gonna get to meet him soon because we've got another session planned and he'll be joining us. Now, Louis did us a favor and he created many, many math spaces, and I'm going to share those with you. So in the document that I created, there's going to be a link to this document, and you're going to be able to see cool stuff on here. Now, I want to show you a couple of things. So you can create assignments, multi-page assignments in here, okay? And then here's an example of one of Louis' math spaces, and it's a copy of Pizza Party. And I already have it open in this tab, I believe. So let me just go over here. Let's see. All right. This is awesome. You're a young kiddo, and this says, Miss L has a very special pizza order. Help me prepare my pizza by placing the right amount of ingredients on the blank pizza. So we know that all 4 squares are going to get pepperoni, right? So you're going to bring those over, and the students can place them wherever they want. And we're kind of running out on time, so I'm going to be quick. Mushrooms only go on 1/4 the side, okay? 2/4 get the green pepper. And then 3/4 get the black olives. So I'll put those on here. And you can just see, this is a fun way for students to learn how to do math. Now, there's a couple extra things down here on the bottom of the toolbar that you need to be aware of. So we've got the traditional equation editor, LaTeX, Desmos graphing, and the way to do handwriting, dictation, and Equatio mobile. This is a select tool. So Louis actually has an example of like teaching students how to tell time. You can actually use a select tool to create arrows, so you can have like 8:20 or 10:15, and it allows the students to move it. You have freehand drawing capabilities, but these are the things that I think are going to blow your mind. We have a shapes library built in here. Now, when you pull this up, if you click on the 3 dots, you're going to have access to an expanding library of shapes. And what's really important is this has grown because so many people have said, hey, I want to see this in there. And really like to put our customers' feedback into Equatio and Read and Write and all our solutions. So if there's something
I want to highlight, Marc, is there were a couple of things like the fraction bars that we asked about, and then all of a sudden, a month or so later, they pop up. And so you guys are really utilizing teacher feedback within the class.
Well, and we do new product updates like pretty much every 8 weeks. And I'm always blown away with Louis and what the development team come up with. So you've got that. And then I also want to show you this. We have a number of different smart shapes that are in there as well. So there's a number line, a grid, protractor, fraction circle, just a ton of really cool stuff. And then there's access to the STEM tools as well. Now, I'm going to go back to this document. So you'll see that we've got stuff for like first graders, sixth graders. Louis got some lesson plans created. Here's the pizza party math space. There's Pi Day activities. There's even a Thanksgiving algebraic thinking activity. So lots of cool things for you to explore. And just know that if you've got any questions on how to use it, we are here to help you. It is 2:59 and this hour has just blown by. So I just want to highlight that Stacy is going to share the link for this document, and I have it set to forced copy. So when you click on it, you'll need to make your own copy, and then I'll have the ability to add to this as needed. So as more important things come on, you'll have one document to go to for resources. How does that sound?
That sounds fantastic. I know it was shared through the chat panel. I believe Danielle shared that with us. So we are good to go. And thank you so much, Marc, for showing us all those great features.
Hey, it's been my pleasure. Stacy, I'm grateful for your time, and Danielle for your help as well. If there is anything we can do to support your efforts, just let us know, okay?
Thank you, Marc. That was awesome. I just learned a few tips myself. So, and I tweeted out. So feel free to, if you're on Twitter, go to Twitter and look at all the awesome resources and tips that I shared out.
Excellent. Hey, thank you so much for this opportunity. I appreciate it, okay?